Hi, good afternoon. My name is Kadek Wiramarta. Before I go to the title of the research, I would like to tell you what is the background of this study. The translation studies is actually has been receiving a lot of amount of interest among researchers, which means there are a lot of research which discuss about translations. Some of them discuss about what is translation strategies that is used. Some of them figure out about the difficulties or the issues that arise during translation strategies. Some of them analyze whether the translation itself is accurate or not, or measuring the measurement tools, appropriate measurement tools to measure the accuracy of the translations. Most of this research is focusing on one thing, which is the translators itself. But without realizing, we have a lot of other jobs that actually do this kind of things, do the translations. They are doing it in daily basis, which is one of them is tourism practitioners. This is Bali. I live in Bali. I teach in Bali. And then if you see the pictures, the Bali has a lot of cultures. Because of that, the local regulations from Bali stated that Bali should be a cultural destination, cultural tourism destination. This is appropriate because all of regions, even between two villages, neighboring villages, there are differences in culture. All have their distinctive culture. Therefore, with various culture in here, we believe that Bali should be a cultural tourism destination. But with this, the tourism practitioners are demanded to have minimally two competencies. The first one, they are competent in language, and then the second one, they have the cultural awareness. So this is the research. Identifications of tourism practitioner practice in explaining cultural terms. With me, Kadek Wiramarta, and then my friends, Iputu Dian Pami Dewi, Krishna Sukmayadi Kiswari, Ide Bagus Vika Krishna, and we are all from Stah and Kulturan Singaraja. The purpose of our study is to investigate strategies used by tourism practitioners in translating cultural terms and finding out the factors of tourism practitioners in using why they are using certain strategies for translating cultural words. So this is a qualitative study which conduct this study by using text analysis and interview. These were done to 74 tourism practitioners as our respondents. And then to collect the data, we conducting a translation test. In this translation test, we use 28 cultural terms, and it is put in the context in a sentence to give us a clearer insight on how they translate the terms. And then we also interview the tourism practitioners why they are using certain strategies. And the results is like this. From 2072 translated sentences, only 2,056 translated sentences which is submitted. 16 of them are completely empty, or people or person practitioner are not answering it really clearly. Therefore, only 99.23% of this data can be analyzed. From those data, the most frequent strategies that is used is using loanword or loanword plus explanations. It is followed by translations by paraphrase using unrelated words with 22.78%, and then this is followed by translations by more general words with 8.49%, and then translations by cultural substitutions with 6.61%, and then after that we have translations by paraphrase using unrelated word with 2.41%, translations by omissions with 1.16%, and there are two other strategies which is not applied, which is translations by a more neutral or less expressive words and translations by illustrations. Let's discuss one by one. First of all is translations by using loanword or loanword plus explanations. We learn the word from the original language when we use these strategies. For example, in here we can see awig awig. Awig awig is our local traditional regulations. And then after it is being translated contextually, it becomes local regulations called awig awig. So the awig awig is still used. Why we use that? Because why tourism practitioners using that? Because they feel that when they are using it, they can retain maintaining the spirit of the culture, but then at the same time, they want the people, the guests, the receiver of information to understand what they talk. So the second one is paraphrase using unrelated words. So we use completely another word from the original language, the terms from original language. For example, in here is magibong. Magibong means eating together in small group, which is translated again, become sit around the food and eat the food together on top of banana leaf, which is has nearly a similar meaning with the meaning from Bahasa Bali Wiki. When I ask why they apply this, they feel that this is explaining the cultural terms completely. So it is better for them to explain the cultural terms as complete as possible. The next one is using more general words. In here, we have Dana Punya as a data. Dana Punya is sacred donations in our culture, and then it's translated into charity. While Dana Punya means sacred donations, charity only means donation, which is a bigger word than Dana Punya. Therefore, this is a sentence that uses more general words. Tourism practitioners argue that this is more practical, and they can deliver the meaning without misinforming, because when you are delivering in a more specifically, sometimes there are more complicated things that could appear. Therefore, they deliver this kind of strategy because they can deliver without misinforming. Translation strategies by using cultural substitutions. In here we have tua. Tua is alcoholic drink made of fermentations, and then it translated into wine. Wine is also alcoholic drink which is made from fermentations. The difference is only the ingredients. People believe this familiarity could bring efficiency and effectiveness when they are doing translation strategies to the guests. Paraphrasing is using related words. In here, we use the words from the terms and then translate it literally to other language. In here, we have Seke Trunatruni. Seke means organization, Trunatruni means youth, and then they are translated into Balinese youth organizations. It is good because the translated terms does not lose its meaning and of each word. And then omissions. Omission is done when people believe that they do not find the equivalent term, and then the term itself is not important enough to be in the sentence. The factor. After conducting the interview, the factor is guest cognitions. All tourism practitioners agrees that the most important thing is how to make people understand. The second one is the cultural awareness. The tourism practitioners believe when they know about the culture, they can explain it well, they can translate it well, but then when they do not know, they tend to be more quiet. This is also related with the cultural complexity. The afraidness of them with the cultural complexity influenced them to be more to be more specific in using the translation strategies. And then the receiver informations. Some of the receiver informations are mature, some are young, some are new, some are have been living in Bali for years, some are cheerful, some are top active. Therefore, the strategies that is used could be different. So the conclusion is there are 6 translation strategies from Mona-Becker theories that is used, which can be seen as follows. And they feel that the tourism practitioner feels that West cognitions, tourism practitioners, cultural awareness, and cultural complexity are the factor that could influence the translation strategy selections among the tourism practitioners. So I think that's all for today. Thank you for your participation. If you have any questions, please.